Mishka Shabali is catching up with friends who are arguably more talented than him.
Hey, hi, hello. How are you? It's Mishka. I don't want to brag, but I actually feel okay today, which is weird. It's May 30th. Tomorrow I will have run 30 days out of 31 days for the month of May, which is funny because I've tried to do this before. I always end up doing it in May, and then June 1st is like International Running Day or something, and I always miss it, and then I don't run, and everybody's like, I ran today, and I'm like, oh, I'm sore. But I actually feel okay today. I feel like I was fairly down on the last intro I recorded. I'm bouncing back. In part because my fingernail came off. Oh man, it was so gross. I really thought I was going to like lose the little nub of my pinky, the first knuckle. You never realize how attached you are to different little parts of your body until you're like, oh man, I may lose this one. But yeah, the nail came off entirely, and it's disgusting. I feel like I'm looking at a hot dog that was left in the microwave too long, or maybe Freddy Krueger. But it feels a lot better. Or at least it doesn't smell as bad. It's a little tricky typing right now. I can't really play guitar, but hopefully things will come back. I have another bad, weird finger. I sort of reconstructed this is now a manicure podcast. I reconstructed a fingernail out of super glue, which so far seems to be holding up. We'll see how that goes. Plugs. I have nothing to plug. You're listening to it. This is the plug, and this is also the thing that I'm plugging. I have no road dates. I will be in New York end of June, beginning of July. So if we're friends in real life and you're listening to this, stop, because that's weird. And also hit me up because I will be in New York. Do have some great podcasts coming up. Roberto Bentavena, who wrote House of Gucci, Joe Cardamone, a collaborator of Mark Lanigan, just recorded one with Laura McCown, who is a fantastic writer, sober. She wrote the book We Are the Luckiest. She has a great podcast, and we had a great conversation. I listened back to it, and I got her cackling, laughing a couple of times, which is good. I'm at a point in my life where sort of dressed like a cartoon character, like same clothes every day, and also I've become the straight gay best friend to several sober women, and it's really rewarding. I'm trying to lean into it. I hope that doesn't mean that I'm just entering like menopause and just getting ready to shut everything down. But that's cool. It's fine. Coming up today is a podcast with my old friend Star Anna. Star Anna is a songwriter from Ellensburg, Washington. We met randomly through the dude from my record label, and then without ever having spoken to each other on the phone or in person, we got in a van together for 2 weeks. And that was good enough that we decided to do, I think we did 40 shows together in 38 days or 39 days. And now both of us hideously traumatized by that, and had a great opportunity to sort of reconnect through the podcast and talk about what we've been up to, and sort of how to move forward. I love Star Anna. I miss being on tour with her. There's something really comforting about being on tour with a woman who you're not sleeping with, because then when you feel sad and beat up at the end of the night, they can give you a hug and you guys can go to your respective couches, and there's not all the sort of drama of being on the road with somebody you're in a relationship with. And also, when you're friends with women, there's not the like dick measuring thing that happens all the time with guys, where you sort of have this conversation that builds up an intimacy, and then finally somebody has to like make a joke at the other dude's expense, and all that intimacy immediately evaporates. Also, Star and I have been swapping demos back and forth, and she was kind enough to allow me to do a worldwide web premiere of a song of hers, a new song of hers, which will play at the end of this podcast. I can't remember the name of it because I didn't look it up. But please enjoy. I love Star Anna so much, and she's an incredibly gifted songwriter and voice. She's a great friend. I hope you dig it. Star, how are you? We haven't talked in for fucking ever.
I know. I feel like I can picture the last time we talked, and I was walking around on the porch, and that was sometime between the last 2 years, probably 2 years ago.
Was it really? Because I remember, I feel like
or
I called
a year.
you.
I can't tell the difference.
Because I feel like I remember having a long conversation with you. I think I was in North Carolina, and I called when I was driving. But then I guess we did. I don't know, man. I'm brain damaged from the last 2 years. I mean, it's funny that like I drank so much and have done so many drugs in my life, and then the thing that ruined my brain was just not seeing anybody for
having no perspective or outside reality. Time just no longer is real.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, it's time became binary. It's the stuff that happened before COVID, and then whatever this post life is, of us just sort of like, I don't know, like sands in the hourglass, like our lives just dribbling away. I'm going to like this tweet. I'm going to add this to my watch queue,
No, things have gotten very different, and it's like we've looked behind. Oh no, my sister's and let me just decline. She took my mom out for Mother's Day lunch today. Her and my niece and my mom are out, so
nice.
That's what they're doing. But yeah, like we peeked behind the curtain and we caught a glimpse of things, and it'll never be the same. Like we can't unsee things, and the way that I think about the world is so completely different that there are just certain normals that will never be again.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, she waited perfect time. This is what she does. But I'm gonna ignore it because I'm sure it's fine.
This is when I always get tons of phone calls and stuff, and like, somebody will come and fucking knock on my door. Like, what's wrong with you knocking on a door in this age?
Right.
So is it just you and Mona on the farm?
It's me and my mom, and then my partner Philip is out here as well, and then all of the animals.
So run down what all of the animals are.
Haha, yeah.
This is your favorite part, right?
Yeah, it's just, I figure this is mostly what we're going to talk about. No. So my dog Forrest, he's a beagle. Yeah. You've met him. You guys have shared some special moments. Then we have a puggle named Mister, a shaggy terrier dog named Bobby, some kind of shepherd lab mix named Ani. Those are our dogs. As far as cats go, we've got this one that showed up. Her name's Pila, and she was either pregnant or had just had a litter of cats. I was outside last summer or late spring, and she came around, and she was really affectionate and wanted my attention and seemed to feel comfortable enough. And I was petting on her, and then I felt her little kitty nipples, and I was like, oh no, what have you done? And so for the next 2 weeks, I was just on high alert, looking around, keeping an eye on her. Where was she going? What was she doing? And then one day we had a kitten spotting, and I realized that they were all out in the pig pen, because yes, we also have some pigs. And they were on the other side of the creek, and it was all of this beautiful foliage and these old willow trees that have fallen down. And was just like a very magical setting. And I walked back there, and then my eyes started to adjust, and it was like a little fluffy kitten there. And then up on that branch, a little fluffy kitten there. And then across the stream. And then it was just like this a magical moment. And so I would go out there every day.
I kept
which
waiting
was
for
one
it to,
nice thing about having what?
I was waiting for it to turn horrible, and it's like, and then I saw, in blood red lettering, like the kitten murders, or like,
yeah.
But this is
this is
thank God.
This is a nice one.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
No, I've been watching lots of crime shows too, so my brain always goes there as well, where I'm like, oh God, this is too good to be true. But I would go out there every day and just sit on the other side of the creek and talk to them, hang out with them, just trying to get them to be my friend. Slowly lured them closer to the house, where we were able to kind of start feeding them every day. And there was 5 of them, 5 kittens, Mama Pila, 5 kittens. And I just worked really hard every day to like build a relationship and build trust and get to know these kittens. And then, I realized that if they're going to be here and be safe, they need to get fixed. And so I had a lot of struggles internally with that, but was able to get all 5 of them and the mom to Humane Society in Yakima, got them all fixed. Was just like sick to my stomach, thinking I had ruined our trust, that they would never love me again. And luckily that was not the case. And so we have, unfortunately, right after the big snow that we had here, which was like 4 feet of snow or something insane over a day or 2 days, we got dumped on. But right as that started to melt, the coyotes really came out in strong force, and we lost 2 of the kittens to coyotes, which was truly devastating. I have to say, I'm thankful that of all of the traumatic things that are happening in the world and for people, I'm glad that that's my most horrific story through this pandemic. So, but
this is one of the things that, like, I think we've all been struggling with is one of the things you always hear in sobriety is, comparison is the root of unhappiness or whatever. The comparison is the root of anthrax. I don't remember what the saying is. But it's something that we do force ourselves to do in our head or this idea of first world problems, but like a fucking problem is a problem is a problem. And the worst thing that happened to you or the worst thing that you're dealing with is the worst thing you are dealing with, and
right.
Like, I don't know. I give you my permission to fucking cry about those cats. It's sad.
Oh man, I did. I
bet you did. I know you.
While waiting, I fell in love, and I know this weird, all of a sudden, like I was never a cat person, and now it's like my heart belonged to them, and I would just be in so much anxiety about whether they were safe, and afraid of the road, afraid of the animals out here, just afraid of everything for them. And also like battling that, like they were born literally in a barn, and I give them all that I can. I love them. I would never trap them inside just to keep them safe. Like what an awful life that would be. I mean, in my mind, I'm sure they would get over it, but it was just like, that's not how we're going to do this. But losing, and I called a pet psychic.
Oh,
I'll admit this.
Tell me about this.
And part of why I was like, because losing any of those cats really was like on my list of things I don't want to even think about. And then one of them didn't come home, and then like 2 days went by, and then like by the 3rd day I was just a mess. And I think I knew that if he were close, he would have come back. And But my aunt had been talking to a pet psychic about their cat who had been pooping all over the upstairs. And after talking to this woman who told her that the cat has a lot of insecurities and a lot of shame, and that things that my aunt can do to help remedy this problem is to one of them was to sing while she's cleaning out her litter box. And like, whatever, silly things, but she did it, and the cat stopped pooping all over the upstairs. So like, whatever. It worked.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is that in my mind, I'm like, haha, crazy cat people. That's fucking ridiculous. That would never work. And if I was in that woman's shoes and somebody was like, oh, it will improve your relationship with your cat if you learn how to tap dance with her, I would be like, well, where do I find tap shoes in my size?
Yeah, and in your cat size. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy when other people do it, but
yeah, when we do it,
I just did it.
It's just good sense.
Yeah. And so I called this woman, and it was pretty much right off the bat, not looking good. And she just kind of surmised that it was coyotes. And which to me, if you were a fake psychic just trying to run a racket, I don't think that's what you would open with,
I feel like, if we cast this psychic as like Forensic Files, then the coyote is the creepy ex-boyfriend with the sodium pentothal.
Right. Yes.
That it's just
the most
like,
obvious.
Everyone was wondering, how she could have disappeared, and then they thought about, the creepy 40 years older boyfriend who had, two DUIs and a burglary charge.
And used to knock her around. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the coyotes in this situation for sure. But I think for me too, I needed that sense of not closure so much, but a little bit to what I had already kind of felt in my heart, which was that his physical presence was gone. And then, like, right after I'd spoke to the psychic, the next morning, another one didn't come home. And I knew. And so the last thing that the woman had said to me was that, the coyotes are going to keep coming back, and they're going to pick the cats off one by one until they're all gone. That's just what they're going to do. Oh. And so you need to keep them inside. And so now every night for the past, since like late February, I have been a little ritual of getting the kittens in every night. And they're like cats now. They're not kittens. But so every night they come in, I close the house up, and I thank them for letting me keep them safe, because I know that's not what they want. They want to be dinking around in the field, getting mice, being crazy. But they come in, and so now I never want to leave my house. Is the end of that story, where
no,
just I would, but my cats.
I know, and now we're those people. It's crazy because that's sort of the same relationship that I have with Elsie, where I was going to do a couple weeks on the road with Lou Poster, and leading up to it, I was like, man, I have all this crazy anxiety about leaving my cat. And I've done a similar thing of like, I cat proofed my yard so that, so Elsie can go out and like run around and stuff, but she's got, the old brain damage, so she can't get over the wall. But she has her little like perfect safe little kingdom there where she can hide in the trailer or play with the dog or poop in the flower bed or whatever. She loves crickets. She'll go and catch a cricket for every night there for a while. She would go out and catch a cricket, bring it in to the house, and then drop it, and then slowly murder it, and then let the dog eat it.
Oh, nice. So they work together.
Yeah. It was like my TV show for a while there.
And would she insist that you'd watch?
It's hard not. It was like kind of her thrill, right? Like voyeurism.
Yeah. It'd be like, you seeing this? You seeing this? Do you see what I got? Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it go. But then guess what? I'm going to get it again.
She's just heckling me all the way through it.
Mm-hmm.
You like that? Look what I'm doing to this cricket. Don't avert your eyes.
Look over here. I'm doing this for you.
So I just posted on Instagram that it's, Sadie's birthday today, and I went to Target and got her a little doggy swimming pool and a bunch of treats and stuff like that. But the horrible secret is that Sadie's birthday was yesterday.
You forgot her birthday.
Well, it's her first birthday, so I never really knew it. I had it on vet paperwork somewhere, and that's how I finally figured out what day it was. I got some notification from them. And
Nice.
I was like, oh my God, I got to get to Target and buy some treats before Sadie yells at me for forgetting her birthday, And we had a fucking really shitty day yesterday where I was, I've been running with her every day, and I have a waist leash, and then I couldn't find the waist leash, so I was just running with her with the hand leash. But I run with another dude who has a dog, and they just sort of go nuts when it's the four of us running together. So I was like, and I had just gotten knuckle tattoos touched up on my hand and on my right hand, so I had to carry the leash with my left hand. And then Sadie was pulling so hard for so long, she ripped open a couple of big calluses on my hand.
Oh.
And then I fucking I was yelling at her while we were running, and she's like, haha, fuck you, and then we got back to the house, and I was trying to get her outside because I was like, I'm annoyed at you. You're going to be outside today. And then I yelled at her, and then she decided to get scared, and then she was on my bed, and then she peed, and I was like, no, don't do that. And I yelled more, and then she peed more, and then and I'm just hating myself because my dog peed on my bed, and it's not even her fault. It's my fault because I know that that's what she does when she, and it was a fucking nightmare. And then I locked her outside for a couple of hours, and I was feeling terrible about that. And then I went outside, and she was fucking having a blast.
Yeah, she forgot. She was like, "Oh my God, you're here!"
Yeah, and she was like, "I've been doing projects. Look, I dug up the flower bed. I don't know, man. It's weird because I had no intention of getting a dog, and so many times I felt like I'm just fucking over my head. But it's really forcing me to learn shit of just patience, and I almost said knowing your partners. Yes, my dog partner. I'm in a monogamous relationship. Waka waka waka.
And having to take accountability for your own actions and your part in the whole anything that goes down between you and your dog, where you're just oh, I gotta own this part of it.
Yeah, she wouldn't have peed on the fucking bed if I didn't yell at her, and I knew that if I yelled at her that's what she's gonna do, because that's what she does, Yep. And she's a dog, so she can't help it, so yeah, all on me doing the fucking laundry, the pee-pee laundry of shame today.
Yeah. It's like if I leave anything on the counter, anywhere near Forest Reach food, and he gets it, I can't even be mad at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course you did. What was I thinking?
I think about Forrest sometimes because he's like a little dog with monkey intelligence, and that's one of my problems that I have with Sadie is not that she's dumb, but that she's insufficiently dumb. That she's actually really smart and sort of thoughtful and empathetic and all these weird things, and with my cat, that's a level of emotional interaction that I can handle, where she's like, oh, you want to pet my butt? I wake up, it's the middle of the night, I gotta make biscuits on your tummy. I can deal with that, but Sadie, it's fucking 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
And I run with her just about every morning, and then if we come in from the run and then I forget, I got to grab something out of my car, whatever, I get up, then she's like, oh, we're going running again? She's just she's tough.
Yeah, she's like black lab mix.
I I don't know. Eventually I'm just going to break down.
You're going to do it, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, you did the fucking pet psychic thing. It's all right for me to do that.
I'm just really excited because that's something that I would feel like no shame spending some money on, to be like, yeah, I got my dog DNA tested. Like, I want to know that more than I want to know my own family history.
I know. The secrets in my family can fucking stay secret. But also, checking your dog's DNA, that's some peak white people shit right there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, she's just Mexican street dog. You know, she's everybody says black lab. I think we're going to find out that she's just pit and German shepherd, and that there's no lab in her whatsoever. But she's great. She's bulletproof. I love her to death. You know. And I was telling her today too. I was like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry about yesterday." And she was like, "What are you talking about, dude?" She's over it.
Incredibly forgiving. Yeah.
So you're playing out again and doing shows and stuff.
Slowly but surely, I'm branching out, and the shows I have played, it's been a mixed bag, but you know, there's been some really good ones, and it's weird. My anxiety just in general has really reached a new level, and like physically it's not like stage fright, but it's just this weird, or maybe I'm doubting my abilities, or it's just not something that I do so consistently that my brain can get in the way. Whereas before I could kind of zone out and just like muscle memory, feel good about it. And now I'm just like, I don't know. I want to get over that weird anxiety, stress, fear related to the thing that I really love to do.
I read like an Instagram post of yours a week ago or a couple of weeks ago, and you were like, I'm totally stoked to do this show. And I was like, really? Are you really? Are you stoked, or are you super fucking anxious and just saying you're stoked? Because I know you, and I know me, and I know us, and I know the fucking shit we've been through and where our brains have gone. And, you know, alternately, like Star, you're such a gifted performer. You have an incredible voice. You're an incredible songwriter. You're such a commanding live presence. You know,
Thank you.
When I watch you perform, I'm like, this is what she was born to do. But also, performing in front of people is so weird. It is. It's like we've forgotten. You know, they say you don't forget how to ride a bike, but it's like we did. And then,
well, we're not riding a bike in front of an audience to entertain them.
Yeah, it's like it's like they say you don't learn how to forget, or they say you don't forget how to ride a bike, but what if somebody did? And I feel like we did, and then there's all this sort of like, well, come on, man, you know how to do this. And I just feel like, I don't know. I did Altercation last year in October, and I've done some little like low key shows at my house, and I watched the tape from Altercation. It's not bad, man. Like it's decent. It's good. I don't know. I look like myself. But I don't. I know that in that moment I didn't feel like me.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, who knows? Maybe we're performing just as good or somehow better in ways than before, but our state of mind is so different that we walk away feeling like it was a completely different experience.
I remember that from getting sober, you know, where I like expressed, regret to my band of like, I'm sorry. I know I play like so much better after a couple of drinks, and they all just fucking did a double take. Like, why are you fucking kidding, bro? And I was like, what? Wait,
you just
really?
thought you did.
Yeah. It felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that's where I'm at, is this weird, trying to find that headspace that, makes it feel as enjoyable as I want it to. And I really don't think that, everybody's blowing smoke up my ass after the shows I've played and telling me how much they enjoyed it and that it was good. And, some people will be like, man, that's the best I've heard you yet. And then in my mind, I'm like, man, what happened to your brain during this 2 years of unknown? But I think a lot of it is just a weird mental state, and also just doing a lot of self-reflection and a lot of I'm kind of at that age where I'm not really sure what I'm doing, and I don't know what I thought it would look like 10 years ago, or if I just wasn't as concerned about it then because, there was more time and things were kind of moving and rolling. And then, I don't know, I just feel like I'm in this sort of weird limbo of not really knowing what the next thing looks like, and then trying not to be too hard on myself about choices I've made in my, or choices I haven't made in my career up till now, and wondering if I would have worked at it more, or if maybe it's just not in the cards for me, and things like that then that really starts to weigh on me. And I don't like to carry that into shows, but it's hard not to when they're few and far between, and not every one of them is going to be what I'm hoping it'll be.
Yeah. I totally get it. I totally feel where you're coming from, that thing of, I feel similarly about surviving COVID, that I do about surviving alcoholism, of well, I'm here and I made it and I didn't think that I would, and I'm glad that I made it, but also what the fuck do I do now? We're off the map now, and I don't, but one of the things that's been helpful to me is I have to do my taxes still, and I'm slowly in the process of cleaning up my disgusting office and going through all these old papers and shit, and finding all these old notebooks and scraps of paper where I've written shit down, and I was like, oh my God, I've been miserable and heartbroken and grieving my entire life. This is just...
Well, yeah, we could just listen to your music up until now and know that.
Well, but
but
because it's my music, it's I can't see it, or I can't it's, I don't know, it's sort of wearing fucking pink colored sunglasses, and then you look at something that's pink and then it just appears white because everything's pink, I feel like the sadness that I feel now and the grief that I feel now is real. But then when I'm forced to go through all these stacks of paper in my fucking office and say, oh, in 2015 you were miserable. Oh, look, in 2017 you were miserable too. Oh, and in 2016 you thought you were dying. And to see all these things, all these other instances where I had those same feelings and they weren't true, maybe points to me having those same feelings now and them also not being true. But Star, it feels so real. It feels so real. I swear we're dying. I swear we're dying.
Every day. And I'm like, my body just feels different, and because I'm 36, which I know is young, but it's also not 26, and so my back hurts a lot, and
yep,
I'm tired, and every time I'm just oh
age
my
came
God,
for you.
Yeah,
I love it. Tell me more about getting old.
And I think just being home all the time and
Do your
I don't
feet
know, having
hurt?
too much time. Actually, no, not so bad. But my
that'll
hands,
come. That'll come. I wake up in the morning and
will.
I'm like, what did I do yesterday that every part of my foot hurts?
Yeah.
And the answer is nothing.
Where you run.
I guess so this is wild. I would murder a school bus full of puppies to be 36 again. Because it only gets worse. And also, look at it this way. I mean, if we look at it, I'm 45, which is a disgusting number in so many ways. But I'm relatively healthy. I exercise. I eat right. I don't have any I don't have any obvious physical defects. I could feasibly live to be 90, which means I have I'm only halfway done. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Maybe I'll get hit by a truck. You know, the thought of just living for another 45 years seems so despicable. And but also, man, it's like
kind of puts it in perspective.
It's not over, dude. We need to keep pushing. We need to, we still need to become who we are. You know, I think you and I have both sort of, settled into our identities as artists in a certain way with what we do and what we don't do. And and also settled into being sober artists, but also not the hey guys, it's a great day, not the fucking psychopath positivity sober.
Right.
I always said that I was on the Howlin' Wolf schedule of putting on my best records in my 50s, and well, now I fucking better hurry up.
Yeah, get on it. Get those scraps of paper together.
I just want to put them all in the garbage and then just put the dog on top of it and then yell at her. Yes.
Drench them in pee and then light them on fire. But my hands have been giving me grief. And
I thought you said my hams have been giving me grief, and I was
hams.
Okay. Let's talk about your hams. Now, tell me about your
hands.
I tried to play an A chord today, dude. My fat first finger just wouldn't do it.
Oh man. Yeah. I've been struggling to and I think it's part of it is because I'm not doing it every day. But then there's the part of it too where it's just your body's starting to fall apart. So. I can take measures to ease that pain or keep building those muscles. But that's another thing that's happened at a couple of shows where I was a little arrogant about my abilities because it's always worked before. And my hands just weren't warmed up. They weren't ready. And I was just staring down at my left hand during the first song and just being like, whoa, why aren't you making that chord I need you to make? What just happened? And trying to will it to happen. And if it's just a mental block that I can just work through it. But it was jarring and then also makes me have to look at things and be like, well, that's gonna happen at some point, and
just wait till it happens.
Playing guitar isn't all you do.
Just wait till it happens to your dick, Star. Wait.
It fell off years ago.
I shot it off in a drunken accident.
That's right.
You just have a little eye patch over there.
A little eye patch. That's so sad.
Old crotch bandit. I hate fucking doing the old guy shit because people still do it to me, and I really hate it. But you are just a young whippersnapper, Star. You're not yet really falling apart as you will when you're 45.
I'm just so painfully aware of the beginning.
Yeah, and I feel you because, when I was in my mid-30s, when you're in your 20s, you're so fucking indestructible. And early 30s too, that you're like, oh, people say that fucking mortality is a thing, but so far so good, man. Nothing's happened to me. I can fucking drink a bottle of tequila and go to work on 2 hours of sleep and I'm fine. And then something happens and it's really like, the clock strikes midnight and your coach turns into a pumpkin and you're like, oh no, I gotta go. Like, that's my ride. Yeah. And
can't eat too much sugar before bed because boy, it'll wreck my day tomorrow. Yeah. Just like dumb shit like that.
Yeah. It's been what? Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm closing in on 13 years now, I think. And people are like, wow, it's so great. It must be so great to never get hangovers. And I'm like, yeah, no, I've fucking eaten donuts late at night and woken up and been like, oh man.
And then try and even imagine like those times when you were actually hungover and still managed to like not die. And now waking up with just like a little bit of a cold or like ate too much pizza last night and I am wrecked. Like, how did we even get through some of those like truly awful hangovers?
My buddy Ed, who I run with, like, he'll still go hard eventually, every once in a while. And, but he never misses the run. So we like show up to run. And then as he starts sweating, I can smell like what he drank the night before. Yeah. And it's, oh my God, it's one of those like there have been a couple of times where I puked unexpectedly and it kind of tasted good coming back up. And just that like revulsion of, you're like, oh, I'm tasting my vomit. It tastes good. Where it's such, because I was like, because he's like, oh yeah, no, we were up late last night. We were watching this movie. We were doing this thing, whatever. I'm like, oh, I remember fun. I remember doing things. I was like, that sounds awesome. And then I get a whiff of the weird, like curdled, like gin sweat or something like that. And and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know how people do that anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely don't miss it. I think June will be 11 years of not drinking.
Wow.
And it's nice. Like sometimes it's almost funny to me to think back, and it's now been longer not drinking than I even drank. So I got it done in a compact amount of time, really took it as far as I could and then got out early.
People say sometimes like, oh, it's a bummer that you went, so hard that you can't hang out and have like 2 beers. And sometimes that makes sense to me. And other times I think like, no, man, I'm glad that I just like broke it. And was that ever even really an option? Because I don't think it was for me. I mean, it depends on how big those 2 beers were. Yeah.
Like if they were each a case big, then
I used to play shows where they were like, oh, okay, it's 2 pitchers per band. And I'd be like, all right, let me get one of the pitchers for the guys and I'll come back. And then I would like carry one pitcher back and then come back for the other one and then have them both on stage and then wake up in a hedge. I don't know. I'm curious what initially I was like, grateful to be sober, and then now at this point I'm also grateful to have been like shitty fuck up alcoholic, pee my pants and sleep on the street, because that forced me to grow so much as a human being, where I'm not just grateful to be sober, but I'm also grateful to have been such a fucking train wreck
and to have survived it. No, I feel that too. I can't say that I'm grateful for that person that I was at that time. I suppose I'm grateful for the experiences, and just to use it as a reference point for other things that are going on in my life now.
Yeah, I think part of it is, it's like the best job I ever had was working as a line cook at Sonic Burger. and the reason I will say that's the best job I ever had is because every waking minute of my life, when I think back to being 17 and heartbroken and hungover and like sweating over the fucking grill, I just think, oh God, my life is so sweet now because I'm not a fucking line cook at Sonic Burger, and I'm really glad I'm not a fucking irate, 26-year-old, shit-faced asshole.
Right.
But yeah, it's funny because when you said, though I accept the experiences that I had, I'm not okay with the person I was at that time. And I haven't really thought about that for a while. And when you said that, I thought about it, and now I feel bad. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. No, it's crazy too that like there's a lot of people in my life now that did not know that person.
Right.
And that's an interesting thing to think about sometimes. And then there are, of course, the ones that knew me then and still know me now and still like me. So, and then the others I probably just don't talk to.
I always have a weird relation. I mean, I guess most of the people who I know now are people who didn't know me then. And it always feels so weird. My ex Allison, who sang on, some of my records and stuff, we were like texting the other day, and, she'll like,
oh yeah. You wrote a couple songs about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard a few on those tours we did. When my birthday rolls around, she'll text me, or Christmas or whatever. Fucking every time I get dumped, she'll message me, "Hey, you okay?" And it's so baffling to me that a person could like the person who I am now, and could have also liked or cared about or been friends with the person who I was then. But then I think too that maybe that like the person who you were then and the person you are now are not radically different. That it's just your perception of who you were. You were probably still you still cared very much about animals. You were still like a super nerd, like totally excited about music and playing music. You loved your friends. You were loyal. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's so tricky. It's one of the things that's so you were talking earlier about like playing that game of like, oh, let's look at the year that I was 27. If I had made different decisions in that year, where would I be? And what's so insane about playing that dumb game is there's no control group. We're not right. We can't do that fucking Rick and Morty thing of like looking into the other universe and be like, oh, here we'll grab your plumbus and we'll hop over to this whatever, and in this one in this one we remembered to get gummy bears before we went back to the hotel room, like
maybe it wouldn't be different at all in a lot of ways, or maybe it would have been radically worse. But it's all hindsight, and unfortunately you can't really do much about it. And it's a trap that I try and pull myself out of, and but at the same time wanting to find things that will maybe help me move forward, be more efficient moving forward, or remember why I made a certain choice, and so maybe I don't make a choice similar to it in the future, or agreeing to do a show that I knew I didn't want to do, and then turns out I was right, I shouldn't have done it. And just trying to pay attention to the little things like that, where without getting too deep into regret, and I don't feel like I have very many true regrets, which is good.
I think I'm mostly like a pile of regret in an old black hooded sweatshirt. Like I'm excited.
T-shirt.
I'm going to go see my friend Jake Flores perform on Tuesday down in Tucson, and I can't wait to regret things that I'm going to do that night. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the arrows are pointing the wrong direction. Like I get so excited to feel bad about a thing I haven't done yet. It's ridiculous. Yeah. At this point in my life, most of my friends have podcasts, and it's disgusting and it's despicable, and it always feels so weird for me to listen to them shilling for other companies. This protein shake, this laundry warehouse or whatever. But the only thing worse than that is that what I'm doing right now is I'm recording a commercial for my stuff to try to get you to buy my things. So the first thing I want to do is, if you're listening, if you're enjoying this podcast, share it with a friend. Please obviously post it to your social media. Please rate and review it on iTunes or whatever the hell this is, podcasts. I don't know, whatever the Apple platform is. But also just send it to a friend if you got something out of this conversation, if it's helpful to you, if you've found something useful there or funny or entertaining, if you get a kick out of it. If I have a guest coming up that you think a friend is going to enjoy, please just share this with a friend. Also, I'm shilling for my new book, The Long Run and Other Stories, which collects all my best-selling Kindle singles and some other bonus material, a couple love letters for Lanigan. I'm selling them directly, $30 through my Venmo, postpaid anywhere in the U.S. And I'm forcing myself to just read some of the blurbs from the back because I got some really incredibly kind blurbs from some of my heroes. Here's one from Lanigan. Mishka Shabali is a king. His stories read like a crazy quilt of heartbreaking honesty and ball-busting comedy. I mean, Lanigan knew how to write the fucking shit out of a blurb. Just hit it hard and get out. Here's another one I'm going to double up today because they're short. Here's one from Bert Kreischer. Mishka Shabali is not only my favorite author, he is also my favorite singer-songwriter. He writes the kind of prose that gets stuck in your head for an entire weekend. He has such an amazing way with words. Kind words from an amazing comic and one of my musical heroes. Please buy the book, and thanks for listening. Let's talk about your music. You sent me some demos that are just like that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around because when we were touring together, and the way that I understand, you and I, the way that we work, the way we perform, the way we write songs is voice and guitar, and then the demos that you sent me have been more sort of like Kate Bush or David Byrne or obviously Bowie. How can we have a conversation and not talk about Bowie?
Absolutely,
dude. I'm friends with. I've adopted this. Having a special needs cat and a dog weren't enough for me. I had to adopt a skateboarder too. And he came over the other day, and I hooked him up with a 12-string guitar that I'd gotten, and he sat down and played went right into the beginning of why was my brain Moon Age Daydream.
Yes.
And I remembered you learning that song in Kentucky.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And then we went to that diner afterwards, and you could smoke in the diner, and it was so amazing. Do you remember that place?
Yes, I remember that place. Did it have a weird tiki?
There was
display.
Toys or dolls or something. There was something. It was like doll taxidermy or yeah. That place was excellent. Any diner you can smoke in. That's
right.
Are you still smoking?
No.
Oh
no.
I smoke.
and run, man.
It's so dumb. I mean, it's like whatever, 2 cigarettes a day, but it's stupid. But so I don't know. Tell me what you're doing now. How did you get to be doing what you're doing now?
I got so tired of acoustic guitar and vocals. I felt like I had hit a wall. I didn't like, I either couldn't come up with songs, or the ones that were materializing were not the songs that I wanted. And I felt like I was sort of stuck. And so I just started experimenting more and more. And I got probably for 5 years or so, I really delved into GarageBand on my phone.
Awesome.
Like not even an iPad, which I tried once and it was really confusing and nothing felt intuitive about it. And then I just went back to my tiny iPhone, and I've just been playing with the loops and the sounds which sometimes to me feels like cheating. I feel like I have to be an expert at everything, and I have to I can't just come at it with no knowledge. But I don't have I feel like eventually I'll get better at certain instruments, but I'm not a piano player. I'm not fully educated and knowledgeable on synthesizers and things that really, really interest me and fascinate me and create sounds that I want. And so if it's cheating, then that's okay, because that's the abilities I have at this point. And so GarageBand has been a really fun tool for me to just use my limited knowledge and abilities at skilled playing and sound making, but know that I have an ear for it and I have ideas, and that's enough.
So I feel all of that. I remember, Hendrix was a guitar player I was like really big into when I was a kid. And I remember being like, oh, pedals are a fucking crutch, that you should just be a good enough guitar player that you can express, anything you want just from the guitar plugged directly into the amp. And I don't know, 20 years went by and I never got good. And now I'm like, yeah, pedals are fucking great. It's like they're a crutch,
Yeah.
And we think of, we say a crutch is a bad thing, but like if you have a broken leg, a fucking crutch is amazing.
Yeah,
like
right. Helps you walk.
Yeah. I mean, is so comforting to hear you say what you were saying about like the loops and beats and settings on GarageBand, because I have the same fear and the same, like I'm cheating, or it's not authentic, or it's not real, right. Or I'm using a preset and that's not allowed. I should be like making everything by hand. But I keep going back to this. Man, talk about peak white people. I'm going to talk about Ganesh. It's so he was a Hindu god, and he has like the elephant head. And one of the tusks is broken because at some point he had to write a thing, and he had no pen available, so he broke his tusk off so he could do it. And I was like, I need to hold that in my head, that we have a finite number of days left. Make something every day, and just make whatever you can with whatever's at hand.
Yeah.
And fucking God bless GarageBand if they're making it easier to make drum loops and synth parts and effects and stuff like that. And if they can put it on your phone and you can like go to the cafe with earbuds and like arrange a song, that's good. It
and it's
easier.
Still your song.
Yes.
And it's not like I created every guitar chord. Like I didn't make up all those guitar chords and I'm like, and this will be a G. You know, like I still use all of those things to build songs too. And like I'll just sit sometimes and then like 3 hours will go by and all I've done was like scroll through a new sound pack on GarageBand that's just like 365 new weird drum beats and or like cymbal sounds or cool new synth sounds that I geek out on it for a long time. And then I also like to change anything or most of the things that I use, any of the preset sounds or loops. I like to cut and paste those or mess with the settings so that I'm not just directly slapping some loops together and then going like, that's a song now.
Yeah.
And but also they're demos. In my mind, I like to think of them as demos. So I'm getting complete creative control all the way down to like where a note goes or where a sound goes, and it's for all the instruments. And being able to create a song like that has because for so long I did just acoustic guitar, vocals, maybe a vague idea of how I wanted it to come to life with a full band. But even that took a lot of time and experience with other musicians. And I've learned a lot from that. And now I want to be able to do that myself and then ultimately take it to the skilled players and the musicians that I want to work with and trust their abilities to execute this song that I have created from top to bottom. And, like there was one demo that I did some few years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And I had put in this weird little like woodblock sound just in a couple of spots. And then, my keyboard player friend sort of did a recreation of the song using a couple of his things, and there was no woodblock sound. And I was like, so the woodblock sound, I really need it there. Like I decided for it to be there and I miss it. And I don't know, it's kind of nice to be able to go into a situation and when words don't always suffice, I can just play that demo and be like this.
So I was gonna do a record with Lanigan in Ireland with him producing, and I started doing demos, and I think I was doing the demos not as a way of facilitating the record happening, but as a way of preventing the record from happening. Because I was scared to work with him because, I admired him so much, and also because he was such a hard ass and he promised that he would torture me. So now I think I'm in the process of turning those demos into a record, and I'm the guy who mixed When We Were Animals. He's going to mix those demos, and that's going to be the fucking record.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many sort of like good, weird, fucked up, intimate, personal moments in the song, where like my voice cracks, because I'm sort of like fucking losing it. And and that shit is so hard to replicate in the studio sometimes. So I would say, keep making the demos and make them far out just for you, just to make you happy, and then make the record and then release the demos after you release the record.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because they take on lives of their own, They
really do. And my biggest worry, I guess, would be like sound quality, but
everybody listens to shit. like everybody listens to shit on their fucking, I remember going and trying to make records on like, okay, we got to use 2-inch tape and this fucking Neve thing and, all this. And then people would listen to like ripped MP3s on their phone, or you're driving around in your mom's Honda Civic that has one speaker that works. And you're like,
yeah.
So like, fuck it, man. Just like,
yeah. No, absolutely. Because I've had that experience multiple times with these demos, and then sort of like bringing them to the next step of other people playing on it and re-recording things, and then getting sort of a not finished product, but a somewhat finished product, and being like, that's not the song anymore.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's almost like it gets too polished up, and I don't know, which is why I'm stoked to have a Bandcamp page where I can put those things out that aren't fully finished and polished and done professionally, and still feel like I'm putting out something that's meaningful, that and otherwise I'm just sitting on songs, and I don't want to do that either. I have a lot of songs, and it's been much longer than I even care to think about since I last put out an album, like officially.
Don't let that become another obstacle to putting out an album.
Yeah.
Because I certainly do that in my head, of being like, oh, it's been such a fucking long time. Does anybody even remember who I am or what I've done? And then getting caught up in fucking Spotify refuses to take down the copy of Coward's Path that's up there that belongs to my old record label. And the label has issued a takedown notice. It's come down from every other outlet. Spotify's just big enough, and I'm a small enough artist. They're like, fuck you, we'll just leave it up here. So I need to like upload that album, and then there was another like digital only EP that I put up that never made it to Spotify because Spotify can't be bothered to put my music up or take it down, and then I get caught up, like, oh, did anybody even hear that record? Oh, I should have made CDs. Well, nobody buys CDs. I should have made vinyl. Well, it takes like fucking 3 years to get vinyl. Well, I should have toured it. Well, but I was touring all those songs. And who tours now? It's like Mad Max. I don't know. It's not. But in my head, you put all that shit in between, in the way of you doing the thing that you need to do.
Right. Which is just make those songs and put them out however you can, so that people have the option to hear it. And I feel like the whole landscape of being a musician and having it as a career is so different now anyways, and kind of in a weird, very unknown place. Like, it's not even just like, times change and they're different than when I was younger. It's that too, but it's also like, I don't think that there really is a laid out path to success or the right way to do it, and most people don't really know at this point.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I feel like we're off the map, and not just me or you or us, but like everybody is, and but also there has never been any map. The map is only something that you see in hindsight. It's not just the future is always unwritten. The present is always unwritten too. It's just when you go and look back and be like, oh, well, then this did this and then this did that. I mean, I guess, from this conversation of like music and obstacles and the like emotional hepatitis that we've given ourselves from these last fucking rough years of isolation and stuff, what I'm hearing you say is that yes, you are going to come down to Phoenix to play a show at my house.
Yes. And I'm going to bring all of my cats.
Oh, good. I will yell at them and they will all pee at the same time.
Love you too. Sorry, my sister. I was telling her I love my sister. She's dropped my mom off.
Right on.
Yeah. That's the other thing that's happened too, where like I'm so terrified to just go out and do things, and I have to just jump back in, and I don't have to go full throttle, but I work myself up about these things, like coming to Arizona, which sounds like the most wonderful, awesome time. And so I'm gonna just get over my shit and venture back out into the world.
We weren't that stupid, crazy, damaging tour that we did together. We weren't ready to do that, and we just did it.
That's true. And honestly, some of my favorite, like, it mostly worked, and I don't know, but it was some of my favorite touring and playing music experiences. And I also look at it and I think, I don't want to do that now.
Oh God, no. Yes, no. Please never. Whenever I was
looking back, and it's like, but we did it. We got through it, and it was truly an amazing time. And I am so grateful for all of those experiences. And I even liked myself, the person I was then. So it's not quite like with drinking, but
yeah,
it was hard.
Whenever I watch that video, I can't remember when you were mine, I was just torn up, like fucking memories from that tour, and I was gonna call him Chlamydia Joe, but he has COVID now, so he's Covidia Joe.
No.
But I was talking to him, the other day, and just like, I don't know, that whole experience of us just getting in the van and doing whatever fucking 40 dates together when we didn't know each other at all. And then, we did that first little run together, and that was just whatever, a week or 10 days or something. And then later we reconnected.
For 2 weeks.
And 2 weeks then seemed like nothing. And now 2 weeks feels like a prison sentence. Like, to be on the road for that long. Lou and I did we
did it again, like, harder.
Yeah, that was the crazy one. That was so brutal. I did whatever 3 or 4 days with Lou Poster last summer, and by the end of it, we were like, man, it's like Vietnam. Got grown so like old, weak, and cranky.
Yeah, I know the 40 day one was with the van that we were going to light on fire at the end, but then we didn't because you said we couldn't, and and then I was late to the airport and I missed my flight, and I had to eat pizza and watch Law and Order in a hotel room in Jamaica, Queens.
I felt so terrible about that. I still feel terrible about it.
I can't believe that I, with all of my panic and anxiety, and like, if I think about that experience now and how I managed to still get home somehow is so impressive to me.
Yeah, and I mean I'm like reluctant to go back to it in my head, because I feel like that tour was so relentless and it was so challenging that it was like day in and day out, I would have each day I would have a different panic attack about a different thing, because it was like, oh, we got to do this interview, or where are we going to sleep tonight, or fucking the van's making this weird sound, or all these different things. And
the van you fixed with the can of beans.
Dude, that was the best repair I've ever done. I did my brakes today, and it took me like half an hour, and I'm like, man, I've come so far. But no repair I will ever make will be as cool as that fucking can of beans.
And where were we? In Kansas City, not Kansas? Where your one friend, Jeff?
My one friend. This could be anywhere.
That one friend you have. No, we played like it was where we went into their tornado shelter.
Joby.
Played a Joby.
Yeah.
And it started. Anyways, didn't we take it to the mechanic, and even that mechanic was like, boy, that's a pretty good fix you did on the car there.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I don't know. That is like my white trash heritage of being able to fix shit with a can of beans. They're called spreader screws, which that's a dick joke right there. We're missing off for the right side brake pads, and so I improvised something, from binder clip, and then went and test drove my car, and I was like, oh my god, that's why it was pulling to the right the whole time. That fucking brake pad was like sitting on the wheel. But yeah, it's weird. I'm like starting to figure shit. It's weird at this age to figure stuff out and to figure enough stuff out in this instance about cars to be like, wow, I have so much to learn. And also, how have I gotten this far without perishing in a ball of flame?
Yeah.
Like I just made so many bad, dumb mistakes and somehow still here. It's stupid. It makes me feel like the system has failed, that I'm not dead yet. Talk a little bit real quick about Bandcamp, how you make music, how you get it out to people. How you make money. Because I think the shit is important for. Well, hopefully you do, because we're gonna pump your Bandcamp really hard on this. I was talking to Scott Kummer in Chicago about you when I was out there, and he was like, "Man, I love Star. She's so great. Like I wish we could have her on the podcast. Tell her to start running so we can have her on the podcast." But he's a big fan, and I am too. I've always loved your music, and I don't know. I feel like more people should be listening to it. I feel like you should be making more money. I feel like you should get some more pigs. The
cats.
Remember when I was there, we had a plan where the tusks were growing too long.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to help you guys flip the pigs onto their backs so your mom could clip their tusks off.
Yeah.
We never got to do it.
No. Thank God. Although my mom did give a pig an enema one time.
Whoa. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bandcamp. Yeah. Oh, my God. Let's not talk about pig enemas.
So I just put out on my own. I played a show at this really cool art studio gallery in Bremerton on my birthday this last March, and Jack Parker.
I know Jack.
Recorded it, yeah.
Wait, is it that place in Bremerton that we used to play?
No, the one that with the really low ceilings.
Yeah.
No, different place. That it's Danielle Rimbert is her name, and she's an artist, and she's got this really cool. It's kind of a gallery, but it's kind of an art studio, and they do art classes there.
It sounds like that place we used to play in Sandusky that was also owned by a woman named Danielle, except it was so weird.
Sandusky, which one was that?
Sorry, keep going. Tell me about the Bremerton recording.
And he recorded it, and it was awesome, decent quality, for and it was just a guitar and vocals, and I just figured having a band camp and having just recorded a show to just put it out. And so I designed some artwork, and I made a run of CDs, because I can't help it, because somehow that
that makes it
is
official.
Exciting, and it solidifies it for me. And plus I just love the artwork aspect of making albums as well, like all of that stuff. I don't want any of that stuff to become irrelevant, because it's so much fun and so exciting for me. But yeah, so I've just got a live album out that has songs that I have been playing for a long time that are on older albums. Excuse me. And then like a couple of songs that I haven't put out yet. So I feel like it's a good mix, and it's very true to what I sound like when I play a show now. And while I work on these crazy synth, looping, whatever demos, I've got an acoustic live show that I can offer to folks, and you can get it at my Bandcamp. And like I was saying earlier, I put out I can just put a song on there that I feel like I want to share. And like if I do a cover of a song that I'm really excited about, put that on there. And if I play shows where there is recordings, put some of that on there. And
I keep, one of the things I keep coming back to is that, the obstacles. And that's one of the things like I'm really grateful for with our dumb iPhones and with the advancements in recording software and, places like, stuff like Bandcamp where you can just you and I can have an idea. I can fucking record a thing, send it to you. You can record your part tonight. We can have it up on Bandcamp tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
which I think is also really exciting for fans of our music and fans of what we do that want to stay up to date on what we got going on. But yeah, I love Bandcamp. It's kind of weird, but it's great.
Tell people where they can find you on Bandcamp and Twitter and Instagram and all that shit.
Well, on Bandcamp, I mean, if you just go to bandcamp.com and then you type in Star Anna, it should take you to my page. On Instagram, I'm the _star_Anna. And then I'm not on Twitter, so.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
That shit is a cancer.
I couldn't remember my password after I think I got a new phone and then I had to log back into Twitter and I couldn't remember my password. And so I was like, I guess I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Listen to that. You're the same girl you always were.
Right? I haven't changed.
What, we'll get out of here in a minute. But what do you have coming up that you're excited about? It doesn't need to be a fucking record release or anything like that, but plug a record by all means if you have one that's coming up that you're psyched about. But give us one thing that's happening this year that you're excited about.
Okay. Well,
there's got to be something. We're gonna stay on here until we find a thing coming up that you're excited about.
My kitten's birthday, which is coming up actually in end of May, but no.
Everybody's born in May,
right? I guess I'm most excited about these demos, and what.
So
what's going to come out of them?
Will the demos go up soon, or are you going to sit on them until you have a chance to get into a studio and make like a quote unquote proper record, or what's the?
I'm not sure. I mean, I want to get them out there. I don't want to wait forever, but I don't want to jump the gun because that is a problem that I have, which results in a lot of unfinished projects. And
yeah, me too.
Where I just I get so stoked and I have all these ideas and it's great. And then I just I want to get right on it and I'll put stuff up online and then it peters out because I don't have a plan behind it. And but I would definitely want to put the demos out at some point, or even just take these GarageBand things that I've made and have work with somebody that can help me mix them and then, get those sounding decent enough and put those out as an album.
Yeah.
Who knows if that'll be by this end of this year, but it's a goal I'm working towards. And I've already got 5 songs.
What I'm hearing you is making, what I'm hearing now is you making an ironclad promise to have an album of new material out this year in advance of your show in Phoenix at my house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're like, fuck it. Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Awesome. Star, I love you so much. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, I love you so much too. I'm so glad that you've created this fantastic way to reconnect with folks. And because I think about you all the time.
I think about you too, and I'm so fucking terrible at keeping in touch. Some of this feels like Broken Flowers or something like that, where I'm going back through my life, or that like I've been diagnosed with cancer, except I haven't been diagnosed yet, and I'm just going through and like recording all these podcasts with people of like, and that was the last time I talked to him, But
it's like every time I hear "Happy Birthday" being sung on the TV, I always think of those terrible commercials that were like the terrible drunk driver commercials when it's just the Happy Birthday song.
Yeah, and I walked into this wooded glade, and there were kittens everywhere, and then
exactly. But also some of my favorite stories and things to talk about from playing music and has been our tours together.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I feel. I'm not 50-50. I'm 100%. I am 100% never doing that again, and 100% doing that again with you.
Yeah, exactly. Remember when you almost got punched in Chicago?
Yes, absolutely.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah, good times.
And then remember when we only got in one fight that whole time, and it was in Valdosta, Georgia.
Was it? No, I thought it was Alabama.
No, well, maybe we were rolling in there, but I think it was right before that, because we were like snipping at each other as we were rolling into the hotel where the friend had set us up, and you come out and you're like, oh my God, we both get our own room. And it was just like, oh, sweet. I won't see you till I see you.
Yeah. And then that was the night we got banned from fucking Alabama, though.
That's right. We did. We got banned from Valdosta, and then I took a big swig of the soda that you just put out that cigarette in.
That needs to happen in every tour.
Yes.
Either urine or like tobacco water. One or the other. Yeah.
That's a promise.
Star, I love you. You're the best. So good to hear your voice.
You too, man. Great to talk to you, and I hope I talk to you sooner than later.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
I am adorned with anxieties. It's nothing new, it's probably
Hey, it's Mishka. Yeah, I know. Weird running into me here, right? If you guys have noticed an alarming spike in the audio quality of the podcast, the production quality of the dreck that we're pushing out here on a weekly basis, all blame is due to my friend Colin Golitko, who I started working with a little while ago to produce the podcast. If you want him to produce your podcast, reach out to Colin on Twitter at cbiscuitg, the letter C, the word biscuit, the letter G, or you can reach Colin at email at colingolitko@gmail, colingolitko@gmail. And we'll have his contact information in the show notes as well. He's honestly been a pleasure to work with, and I'm super happy with the quality of the stuff that we put out that my mom and 4 other people listen to. So you can too.